Okay, Nicadeamas Tutorial 1, General Mapping. Works in any Steam game. The first thing you want to do is get your Winamp. We're going to start out with, well, it doesn't have to be Winamp, just any music program. We're going to start out with loading Source SDK. As if it were the first time, you want to go to your Steam library, then over to Tools, and open up Source SDK. If you've never done this before, then you also want to download and install Source SDK 2006 and 2007. Then you can close that after you're done. Now, once you open your Source SDK menu, you'll have the engine version, Source 2006, 2007, and 2009, and then you'll have the current games. The current games, if your Source SDK is downloaded and updated and everything properly, then that always takes a while. I shouldn't have clicked that. Your engine version should be lined up with what current games run in it. Like in 2006, only Half-Life 2, Deathmatch, and Episode 1 run in it. Counter-Strike shouldn't be there. In Source 2009, you have Episode 2, Portal, Team Fortress 2, Day of Defeat Source, Counter-Strike Source. All those should be in there. Half-Life 2 and Episode 1 shouldn't be in there. Since this is general mapping, we're going to start with Half-Life 2, Episode 2, because most of everything in Episode 2 is also in the other games. Did I say Episode 2 runs in 2006? It doesn't. Okay, loading hammer. Now, if you're going to get into heavy level design and everything, you're going to want dual monitors. But not everybody has dual monitors, so I'm making this tutorial with a single monitor. So I have things like the texture quick list and a filter control and a manifest control and a new objects thing and the selection thing over on the other screen. I'll drag them on here if I'm going to do anything with them. I don't really do anything with them that much until we get into some more complicated stuff. Start off, we're going to make a new map starting from scratch. Don't know anything. File, new. Now, if your screens are not already lined up like this, like they should be, if it looks more like this, then Control A will auto-size all 4 views to be even. As you may notice, there are these blue lines on the grid. By the way, I'm zooming in and out with the scroll on my mouse. And you can also zoom in and out with this button that almost... whoa. That's interesting. Apparently nobody's used it for so long that they don't have the icon for it anymore. Okay, so you better have a mouse scroll, otherwise that's going to be confusing, because they shouldn't even have that anymore. Alright, so scroll in and out to zoom in and out. You're going to want to get a mouse scroll if you don't have one. If you hold down Control, it will scroll in and out on all the views, except for the camera view, proportionally. In case I didn't already mention, these lighter colored lines, these bluish green, if you can, you want to build your map inside one of the 8 portions, because, you know, 3D, there's 4 portions on this side and 4 portions on this side, so that makes a total of 8 because it's cut in half and cut in half and cut in half 3 times for the XYZ coordinate thingamajig. So if you can, you want to make it in one of the 8 sections. But it's not really a rule, it's just, you know, if you can, because if you don't, then it will load in a whole bunch of extra numbers and very lightly affect how much it costs to render your map. Moving on, we're going to start with our first brush, and we're going to do it over here, which is over here, which is right there. Shift B is the shortcut for the block tool right there. Make a brush any size you want, line it up with the red lines if you want. I like to. Control E will line you up with that. on all views, that is. Let's make it in the center. Right now it's 64 units wide. We want to make the grid smaller. You can use these buttons for that, or the bars on your keyboard. I don't really know what those are called, but here, I'll get you a text document so you know what those look like, because I don't know what those things are called. There you go. Those buttons make the grid bigger and smaller. Anyway, we're going to make this brush smaller. It's our first brush. We want it to be 32 units thick, and any size you want. Control-Shift-E will line up the camera with that brush. If you push Z, it will tie the camera view to the mouse. Then WAS and D will move the camera around. Your texture right now, default setting for episode 2 is this brick texture. It looks terrible. By the way, Shift Z will make the view full size, and it's whatever view you click in. Okay, you want to open the texture window. I call it the texture window, but it's also the face edit sheet. The quick command for that, the hotkey, is Shift A. You want to go to Browse, and then you want to go to Tools, filter in the tools. No Draw is what you want to start every map out with. And I forgot to select the brush when I did that, so do it again, hit apply. Now it's all No Draw. And the XY texture shift, I have a habit of making it 0. So now we have a No Draw brush. The reason you want to start every map out in No Draw is because No Draw tells the engine not to render any lighting on the face, as not to use extra resources. Next, we're going to go to the Entity tool and create an info player start. The Source 2009 has a nice search thing in the new objects menu, so you can just go info player, and that's the only one there. So click somewhere in your 3D view, or if you want, I never do it this way, but you can click and move out line it up according to the grid, and then hit enter to make it. But I never do that way, and that's the slower way. Useless. Alright. So there's our player. Now we have a size. We're going to build him a little house. Actually, we're going to build him a little house in the next tutorial.